have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to Delayed But Not Denied, the podcast. I don't know why that was funny to me, but tonight we are doing part two to our conversation on the book that we all co-wrote, Before the Vows, A Wife's Story. After the Vows, A Wife's Story. I don't even know the title. But before we start, I'm going to go to God in prayer. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight asking you to be in the midst of the conversation, asking you to place these words upon the hearers and doers of your word. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. So tonight I have with me Miss Queen Angela, Miss Queen Travita, and Miss Queen Dee Dee. Hey ladies,
Hello.
how
Hey,
are you?
I'm good.
We
How
are
are you?
I'm here. I am
blessed
here.
and highly favored.
Blessed, black, and highly favored. Shout out to Charlemagne the God. Um, I want to talk to you ladies because we didn't really get to finish our conversation the last time. Travita, you were saying, um, you were talking about the ins and outs and what it looks like on the leaving out part. And so, if you could just pick up there, and we'll piggyback off you and go from there.
Okay. Um, Getting to the other side is the divorce and the final stages of the separation. The beginnings of it definitely for me because the relationship was 13 years. And
Mhm.
so I went from being a teenager to a young adult to literally my late 20s. And so I spent most of my early adulthood with one particular person. We shared three children together, and learning how to identify with myself all over again was a challenge, and I had to learn me all over again because I had become so wrapped up in the identity of being a wife and a mother that I lost who I was in the process. And that was not an easy journey, but I learned some things along the way that has helped me to begin the healing journey, to forgive what happened, to take accountability for the role that I played in the ending of the relationship, and not just place everything on him. And one of the things that I did was I started doing a self inventory for myself and figuring out the things and the areas and where I had issues, where I needed to still grow, where I needed to learn how to apologize and not just blame other people. So that was difficult, but it was a process, and on the other side is where I am today.
What did it feel like to get to be able to get to the other side, be able to heal, and then allow God to place a special person in your life?
Now, I will say that process was difficult to actually allow somebody in my space because I knew what I wasn't gonna tolerate anymore. I set really strong boundaries, and after him and I split, it was I had a real strict rule. Number one was I had three small kids, one being my daughter. I didn't want a lot of different men coming in and out of my home.
Right.
It was like I have to set an example for her. And so I had a very strict rule. No men were allowed in my house after 8 o'clock. You can see me before 8, but if you're making plans to see me after 8, you can't come. I'm
Right.
And I had a couple men who, well, I'll say boys, I'll take that back because men not gonna do that. Who would always say, "Well, you're grown, that's your house, and you can do what you want because you make the rules, you pay the bill." You're absolutely right. And if you can't respect this rule that I have, then we don't need to associate or talk. And
Right.
gentleman, he was like, "Well, I'm gonna bring my daughter with me. I don't care if you bringing Jesus himself with you. You're not coming in here after 8 o'clock." And it's just that simple. And so he was like, "Well, I just don't want to deal." Well, baby, we're not asking you to deal with me. This is our rule. And if you don't accept it, then you can't accept me because you want me to break something to satisfy your need. But you made no time to see me before nightfall, but you want to see me after the sun goes down. Absolutely not. And so making that rule, like I had that rule, Brad and I split up in 2007. We were divorced in 2010. And that rule stood in my house until 2016.
Wow.
And I would not allow anybody, if we were not considering a relationship and going through the process of being in one, you can't come. I'm sorry. It's just not gonna work.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Angela, can you share your story with us?
Mm. Well, so my story is a lot different because I exited on domestic terms and officially, um, technically, I'm still married. I've been separated since 2019. Um, this has been a journey. I am still trying to get these papers served because my situation is I can't have this man knowing where I live at because he's still in his mind thinks that there's still something that we can work out because I've not finalized the divorce. And you are the reason why the divorce is not finalized because
Mhm.
in South Carolina, they want you to mail or deliver something to them and then
Yep.
they have to send it back in. I cannot
Yep.
have this man knowing where I live at because
Hmm.
I know what he's capable of. So
Exactly.
Mhm.
that has been one of the major hangups. But I've been dating. Eventually, I'm gonna have to do it. Eventually, he's gonna have to know where I live at and all of that because I want it to be final. Because I feel like I can't
You can't
properly
treat
be
me
in a
happy.
relationship, and I can't be
Mhm.
happy with the relationship with all of this still
Hanging.
Behind.
Yeah.
around me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
So I said by 2026, so that gives me less than 60 days to make
Yeah.
this happen. Um, and I'm thinking I can make it happen within these 60 days because some people have been giving me some advice and
Hmm.
telling me some routes that I can take to not have to disclose my address. So
Hmm.
I'm really feeling positive about it because I really want to move on.
Yeah.
Because I have actually have a special someone that
Okay.
I am really looking to develop with, you know.
Hmm.
All
Like
right now.
Charita, I had to set some boundaries and I had to say what I will and I will not accept in a
Right.
relationship. So
Hmm.
I tell you, I'm grateful for the book and I'm grateful for these talks that we have been having because I'm telling you, Charita be dropping some nuggets. She be
I
dropping some
swear
stuff
she
that
do.
I'll be like, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even consider that. That didn't even cross my mind.
Every
Um
time.
the the wisdom that she has, I tell you, God,
Mhm.
I'm telling you, it's so amazing. Now, Patrice is somebody that should have been in this book. Don't know
Yes,
why
she's
you
just
didn't tap
smiling
into her,
tomorrow.
but she is definitely somebody that should have been in this book. I think it should be a part two
Yeah.
because
I'm thinking of
again,
part two.
um, I am going to be finalizing this. She has went through a process. Don't know what her process is, but I think she say filing tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
She doing something. She on here. She said happy birthday, Trevita.
Thank you,
Um,
sweetie.
so definitely want to follow up and see how, especially with Trevita's being engaged
Yeah.
and moving on. So we definitely want to, journey this and allow people to see that, it is possible.
Mhm.
Divorce is not the end. Divorce is not death. Divorce is not the end all say all, but it can be the beginning of something so greater. And I
Exactly.
think Travita said, I think Travita may have mentioned that in our last show.
Mhm.
So yeah, definitely enjoy these talks, and it
Yeah.
just gives me a positive outlook on this situation.
Yeah.
And then hopefully somebody else is grabbing some nuggets and grabbing something that we have experienced, that we have overcame, got through, or dealing with, that can help them with whatever situation they're in. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's where I am.
Most people tend to think that divorce is an ugly word, but you got to understand that sometimes it is best that people go their separate ways for the simple fact of if you're not pouring into me, what I'm giving to you is not blossoming. Like I'm giving more of you and I'm losing more of myself. I've become depleted. So I have nothing left to give. And you tend to find that out when you look at yourself and you don't even recognize the face in the mirror anymore, and
Mm.
you realize that you have lost every bit of who you once were, and that relationship isn't making you happy. It's not fulfilling you in the same way that you hope that that person is fulfilling you. My relationship also, like, it ended, like, we got physical after we separated. It was never during. And that was crazy because it's like, yeah, you and your partner, you're gonna argue, y'all are gonna have disagreements and things of that nature, but it never got physical until I left. And that was another stipulation for our divorce because it's like, dude, we aren't together. You've already moved on. You have someone else. I would just like the same. And it took 3 years because he refused to sign the papers, just like what you're going through. And I ended up having to serve him myself because he would not, like, the officer, the sheriff's department tried to serve him several times, and they would always come back and say that no one is answering the door at the address. And I was like, oh, so I had to go to my attorney, and I'm like, listen, I know that we're not supposed to have any contact, but I know where he's going to be, so can I serve him myself? Because I'm tired. I know y'all are tired too. So can we just do this? And well, you're gonna have to sign a waiver. Um, and I was like, I don't care. Just whatever it is that I do, because I want to be able to move on with my life. He's been able to do the same thing. And I'm stuck. And so, y'all, I served that man with a pair of Timberland boots on in the rain in his car. And it was just, look, sir, I need you to sign right here. I need you to sign right here and put your address right here and do this on both sets of these papers. Once he did that, I handed him his and I said, you've officially been served. And I walked right on back in the house and he sat outside of my house for about 5 minutes with that piece of paper in his hand staring. Baby, it's time to move on. Go on. Listen, I went and took that to my lawyer's office that Monday morning. Let's get this over and done with, because I want to move on with my life. I want to be able to be free. I want to live. You're living, you're free, you're creating a whole new family outside of us. And I want to be able to do the same. Like, it's
Exactly.
not fair that you're holding me up because you didn't want an end to something, but you're also part of the reason why it had to end.
Yeah.
And when you don't
Exactly.
want to take accountability, it falls on me to actually take the accountability.
Mhm.
And one of the things that he said during the midst of our separation, before I moved from our family home, is, well, I wish you could get pregnant again. I said, excuse me, sir, who are you talking to? He said, well, if we had another baby, we would still be together.
It sounds like entrapment.
Look, I said, sir, I don't know who you think I am. I said, we created three. The last one you had an issue with. I said, and you standing here now saying that you wish there was a fourth. Sir, please exit stage left. Don't talk to me right now because I'm in the middle of packing this stuff up. And you part of the reason I got to pack this stuff up. Go in the other room till I finish what I'm doing in here because I can't see your face right now. This just not gonna work out. But don't say that. Don't do that. Um, but my role in our relationship ending was, men talk a lot about, sex and this, that, and the third. But however, for me, it was painful. And it wasn't something that he was trying to understand. I had some cysts that were on my ovaries and they were painful. And so, with them being painful, sex was not something that I was, trying to partake in.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if you're not trying to come to the doctor with me to find out what can be done so that this can actually bring us back together, I don't know what you want me to do because I'm trying everything, but it is not a pleasant feeling. And
Mhm.
so that it was also, he liked to he like the outside world. I'm a homebody. I don't need to entertain other folks. I'm home. I like to be with my kids. That's where, I find peace and I find joy. And that was the thing. He wanted to be out at the club, baby. Go have your fun. Go do what you need to do. I'm
Mhm.
gonna be right here. I don't like loud music in that sense, a crowd of folks, from just my experience, leads to bad decisions and things of that nature. So I tend to stay out of environments that are going to do that. So that was one of the other things. Like, he was still, and like I said, we were young, we were still in our early 20s. So it was the life that he was still trying to live. And it's like, baby, that's not for me. I'm sorry, I'm old already. At 27, I'm old already. So it's like, I'm not really worried about that. If you want to go, I'll be here at the house. Me and the kids will probably, I'll be in the kitchen cooking something. They watching their TV or whatever. I'm not going. But you free to go and have your fun. I'm just gonna be at the house. So it's relationships, marriage, divorce, all of those things, they play a major role in how we interact with other people. And sometimes divorce is one of those things that we really and truly do think that it's the final thing, that nobody's gonna want us. And that's usually comes from the situation of the other person thinking that they've instilled in you that you're not, nobody else is gonna want you, nobody else is gonna want to be with you. And my whole, see, you can't say something like that to me because it's like, well, you'll never find nobody to treat me. Sir, that's the whole point. I don't want nobody else like you. So, that I
That
don't say
part.
yeah, don't say nothing like that to me because I'm gonna come back with something that you
Bet.
ain't ready for.
Bet.
And we were in the middle of an argument one time, and he was like, "F you." I said, "You already did that. That created the three children we have." Like, that's why it's like, don't say nothing to me. And he couldn't say nothing to me after that. It's like, okay, what you want me to say? We've already been there, done that. We've moved on. We've got the children to prove it. What do you want to talk about now? That's why I don't like to talk to you. Okay, well, stop. I mean, it's a
That's
solution
a
to
easy,
that.
that's an easy fix.
Right. It's a
Stop
solution
talking
to
to
that.
me.
Stop talking to me. If you don't want to
No,
hear these rebuttals, then stop talking to me. I mean, it's just that
easy fix.
simple. So I'm an easy
Oh
person to
Lord.
get along with, but I'm a complicated person to get along with. But right now, I have my boundaries that my non-negotiables that I will not compromise on. And the crazy thing is, my fiance now, like we were together before, and we had to go our separate ways because my thing was when I met him, like he embraced my children from day one.
Mhm.
However, we were 9 months in the first time, and I had yet to meet his three children. And I had met his brother, I had met his best friend, and that was it. And I met the younger child. And it's like, okay, you have two older children. I would like to meet them too, and your mom, the people that you say that are the most important people to your life.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
need to meet those people as well.
Mhm.
And that wasn't happening. And it's like, there's something that you're not saying. And since you're not saying, I'm going to exit because this isn't making sense to me. Because you've met the most important people in my life. You've
Mhm.
met my entire family, just about.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
yet I haven't met these people
Yours.
that you
Mhm.
say are important to you. I'm
Mhm.
not understanding. And so we had to go our separate ways. And now I'm glad he's not here right now because he will be saying, well, 7 years later, you always said God grants patience. And if it was meant to be, we'll be patient and we'll go back around. He was like, I was patient for 7 years. Sir,
Ooh.
were.
And I applaud that man for them
Me
7 years.
too.
Shout
Now
out
we
to my
still we
brother-in-law.
maintained a
Yes,
friendship
Lord.
throughout that. And like we still kept in contact, and it was one of those things where, okay, you still want to be my friend. I'm not the easiest person to befriend after
He said,
this.
I know.
Yeah. And so he was like, yeah, okay. And
Yeah, okay, I
so
know.
when the second time around came, he made sure that I met all of the children, and met his mom, his grandma, his other siblings. Like I've met everybody now, y'all, and I swear, I've met aunties too, and I've met dad not too long ago. So it's like,
He
okay,
covered all his bases.
yeah, and so it's like, and this is the other thing. I have really learned to understand that when they say if they wanted to, they would. Because let
Right.
me tell you, my birthday yet was yesterday. This man worked all day yesterday. He worked 12 hours. He came all the way down here to deliver my birthday gifts and went back home. And he lives in Charlotte, and that's not a long distance away, but he did all of
He
that
said, do it. Yeah.
because it was my birthday.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to do that. He could have said, well, I'm just gonna wait till the weekend. I'm off this
Mm-hmm.
weekend and I'll see you then.
I see you then. Mm-hmm.
But no, he made sure that he was there. And
That's
he's made
important.
sure that anything that I may have an inkling of being stressed about, he finds the solution. And I may be getting all worked up about something, and he look at me and be like, okay, and what's the problem? And I'm like, okay, well, this is the problem. He's like, okay, and so you're stressed about what? I'm telling you what I'm stressed about. Okay, well, it's taken care of. So again, what are you stressed about? And then me with my little stubborn self, I still want to be mad about the whole, and it doesn't work. And so it's like, okay, I want to be mad, and you won't let me be mad. Let me be mad in this moment. And so last night he thought I was mad at him because I didn't respond to the text message. But honestly, I didn't know he had texted me. I was in the car listening to my music. So I didn't have the
You
volume
were in
up.
the zone.
Yeah, so I didn't have the volume up on my phone for the text messages to come through. So I'm in here running my bath water, getting ready to take my bath, and I turn around, there he is standing with the bag in his hand, and I'm like, oh, where you come from? He talking about, you was mad at me. You didn't see my text message. Sir, I ain't seen no text message. My phone ain't went off. He talking about, I told you I was jumping in the shower. Sir, I ain't seen none of that. I ain't seen none of that.
Oh, that's sweet.
So, if he really and truly wanted to,
He would.
he would. And you can't settle for less than that that you deserve. And
Got that right.
yeah, and sometimes we do make that misconception of giving them the benefit of the doubt. We see the potential in that person and we like trying to push them to that potential. But one thing I have learned over the years is you can't push somebody into something that they're not, regardless of the
Right.
potential that you see in them. Because if
Mhm.
they don't want it, ain't no need for you trying to make them want it because they'll never have the same respect or desire to see it through. And so
Mhm.
I've
Right.
learned if I'm pouring into you for this amount of time and you're not receiving or blossoming or even trying to grow anything, then I'm going to go ahead and remove myself. Now, I will say my relationship before this, I still have value in that relationship and that friendship, but I know that we'll never have a friendship again because ego plays a major role in that. And I'm forever grateful for the position that that person put me in because this was his thing always. I want to put you in a better position than the one that I found you in. Okay, great.
Mm.
Wonderful. Also, and he did he put me in a position to be able to have a business, and I'm grateful for that. But it's
Mhm.
also, he didn't think that I would stick it through. He thought
Mhm.
that I would take the advice and just sit on it and
Mhm.
not actually follow through with it. Well, I have continued to follow through with it. Not only that, I've continued to thrive and help other
Mhm.
people do the same thing that I was doing. And I didn't stop. And so, another thing that this person said is that he wanted to see me broken. Okay, well, in what capacity do you want to see me broken? And it was crazy. And what he was meaning was he wanted me to learn how to separate my emotions from the situation. Now, in that, he taught me how to remove my feelings from dealing with our personal relationship and just deal with each other on a business relationship. Okay, cool. So I did that. So then when it became our personal, now you mad because I'm dealing with you how you dealing with me.
Mhm.
But that ain't got nothing to do with me. These are the rules that you put in place. So if you
Mhm.
want me to either be your business partner or you want me to be in relationship with you, then you set the rules for how we gonna go. Then it was
Mhm.
always, well, when you leave me, I said, okay, you're always talking about the end. So you have no purpose for us to be together continuously. So if you're consistent in talking about the end, what's the point of starting something with me? Well, no, I'm just saying I'm living in reality. No, you creating an end to
Mhm.
something because if you
Mhm.
speak that, you receive that. So when you
Mhm.
receive it, you can't be mad at it because this is the
Mhm.
narrative that you set in place. So
Mhm.
I'm consistent in asking you. And if I don't understand something, I'm going to ask for clarity. And me
Mhm.
asking for clarity would be, in his mind, I'm wanting to argue. I'm not arguing with you. We're having a conversation. You like to avoid conversations because all your conversations end in arguments and drag out fights. I
Mhm.
don't have to argue with you to have a conversation with you. But
Mhm.
since that's what you're used to, you can't understand that conversations can happen without conflict.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
we can communicate with each other, but we don't have to have a situation where we got to put our hands on each other. My voice has to be raised, your voice has to be raised. We can sit and have a conversation, but you rather avoid the conversation because of past relationships that have nothing to do with me. And
Mhm.
so,
Communication. I tell
right,
people all the time, communication is key. Communication.
exactly.
You should be able to talk to your mate about anything,
Everything.
and it should
Yes,
not be an argument. You should be able to talk freely, and they be able to listen and be able to respond, and
and
vice versa. You should be able to do the same. It's not complicated. We make it so much complicated than it need to be, and it's just
Mhm.
exactly.
all about communication. That
Yep.
Mhm.
communication will kill the problem in any situation. I don't care.
Exactly.
Communication is key.
And that's one
Mhm.
thing that I have learned is that we have to communicate, even the uncomfortable conversations, you have to have them. And if you're not willing to have the uncomfortable conversations, what happens when that situation comes in full circle, and now it you can't get beyond that because you're stuck on it. What was a little problem has now become a ticking time bomb. You don't ever want to be with somebody that you gotta walk on eggshells, be sensitive
Right.
about, constantly apologizing for their lack of being able to regulate their own emotions. That has nothing to do with you, it's personal. And then
Mhm.
learning to figure out what your own personal triggers are. That was
Mhm.
a thing that I had to understand for myself, which is goes back to my self inventory. Certain things, certain words, certain tones would trigger me. First off, who you talking to? Secondly, change the tone and how you talking to me, you know?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
sometimes I'm good at receiving a joke, sometimes I may not be. So it's like learning how to gauge my own reaction to certain things. And so now it's like I can see when somebody's trying to trigger me or upset me or whatever, and I end up pissing them off more so than me getting pissed off. And so that it shouldn't bring me joy, it shouldn't bring me pleasure, but it's like I've learned to control me, so it does. And it's like you mad, but you started the argument.
Right. Right.
Right.
Like
And they don't
that
like
ain't
that.
kind of no. So it's like you started the argument, but you mad because I won't get mad and I won't meet you where you at. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That got to do with you. So go get yourself together and come back and we can talk about it. But you're gonna be
Exactly.
mad by yourself, you
Exactly.
know?
That part.
And so that's another thing that I swear me and him, like I could be mad about something. He just over there happy go lucky, whatever. And I'm like, no, sir, I want to be mad right now. He's like, okay, well, you can be mad, but I don't care. So and I'm like, okay, well, you gonna be mad too. He ain't. He ain't. He just gonna look at me and be
Not
like,
gonna
okay.
do it.
No,
Ain't no
he
need
not. He
being
will
mad,
not
honey.
meet me.
Ain't no need
And
being
so,
mad. Cause my mama used to tell me being mad is like using the restroom on yourself. Don't nobody feel that but you. Mm,
exactly.
Lord.
mm. So you might as well just
Exactly.
sit on over there in that corner and let people figure out how
And
we
be
can work
wet
this
by
thing
yourself.
out.
Lord have mercy,
Go on and work
Father.
it out. Go on and work it out. Cause ain't no need being mad. Cause ain't no
Father.
need
Yep.
feeling that.
Yep.
Oh, Father. Okay.
So
So
Yes,
Didi,
ma'am.
um,
Yes.
I've gotten to everybody but you. Is
I've
what
been
brings
patient,
you here,
haven't
ma'am? Yes, you have. What brings you here, ma'am?
I? You.
That's a loaded one.
very.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, our last discussion, I talked about having been married for almost 20 years, and um when I met my ex, because I'm claiming it to be an ex soon, because I'm like Miss Angela, I gotta move on. I need to move on. I'm planning on moving on. It's gonna happen. Um, but when I met him, when we started dating, I had just we started dating 2 months before my adopted mom passed. And
Mm.
that was the hard time for me. That was she was my world. She saw everything in me. I owed her my life basically. So me losing her was devastating. I mean, we had lost people in the family before, but me losing her, it threw me out of whack because
Mhm.
she was like almost the air I breathed. I didn't do nothing unless she was cool with it, unless she was okay with it. And so when we got together, I think I was just in a grieving mode, and I just stuck with him. And I was like, I don't want to lose nobody else, and so I just clung. I
Yeah.
clung for 20 years. Well, actually 23 years because if you count the dating part, yeah, 23 years. Yeah, yeah, I clung hard. Then the father said, "Yeah, that's enough of that clinging. We're not doing that." And it was
Yeah.
just like one day he was in the hospital. My sisters were going through here in Virginia. We were in Florida, and it devastated me that my family was going through, and I wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I was like, okay. So I come to him. My cousin was like, "I can come get you. Let's come home for a week or so. You know what I'm saying? Just be with the people." So I told him, and he was like, "Well," and we had been doing dialysis. He was doing dialysis, so we did home dialysis. So I was no longer your wife. I was your secretary and your nurse. I was not your wife. So he decides when I say my cousin's gonna come pick me up, he's gonna take me, for a little while, and then I come back. He says, "What about my treatment? What about him? You can go in center. The doctor was gonna put you in there a couple of weeks ago anyway because you was swollen like a balloon. What about him?" I said, "My family's going through some stuff. What you talking about?" So then you come to me a couple of days later, and your mom got this inheritance or whatever, whatever, blah blah blah, and you want to come to me talking about, well, we can go back to Virginia for a little while. I said, "Go back to Virginia to do what?" "Well, my mom want to give me this part of my inheritance, da 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 da." I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "How long you staying?" "Well, I gotta be back Monday to do my treatment, so we staying the weekend." "So you telling me I can't see my people?" I said, "No, you go ahead. I'm good. You go." It was like when the Lord told me it was over because I didn't get to that part. The part was when he was in the hospital. My sister was going through. Both my sisters were going through. My other sister was in a nursing home, and then they had taken her to the hospital. She had got COVID and she had a heart problem. So my niece called me and told me when they was trying to revive her, like for the third time or so. So I'm freaking out, and I'm freaking out like I'm like, "Lord, please don't let my sister die before I can get to forgiveness, because I do not want her to die. I want to at least be in the area with my people." And something said, "It's over." So I did a little, "It's over. It's over." The Lord, don't take my sister. Please don't tell me you took my sister, please. Please don't tell me that's the part you're talking about. And it was like I saw my husband's face, ex-husband's face across my face. And I said, "My marriage?" I said, "Father, you honor marriage. What are you talking about?" He said, "I
He
honor
honors
those I put
those that he
together."
put together.
I put
Yep.
together. I didn't put y'all
Right.
together. You put
Right.
yourselves together. He said, "But it's over." So I said, "Okay." I said, "But you kept us this long." He said, "I kept y'all this long because you was praying. You was praying for your marriage." I realized then I had stopped praying. If I wasn't a wife, why was I going to pray for a marriage I wasn't a part of? Now I would pray when he go in the hospital because I'm not that type of person. I'm gonna pray regardless. I don't ever want nothing to happen to anybody. So I'll pray when you're in the hospital. But that's about all you got for me. So that's what the father told me. He was like, "You start praying, so I can go ahead and tell you now what I need to tell you. It's over." I said, "Okay, Father." I said, "Well, if it's gonna be over, I need a ram in the bush." I said, "I need a ram in the bush because I can't do this by myself. I can't." So I talked to my cousin, and she was like, "All right, we can ready to get you a plane ticket. You coming home?" I said, "Okay, all right." So he takes me to the airport, and he's looking all kind of. Well, before we get to the airport, the last
You
thing
look
he said to
sad.
me that really, last thing he said to me that kind of really set it off for me was, "You mourning your dad really got on my nerves." I said, "Oh yeah."
Wow.
I said, "Father, I willed away from that man. Took this act of will from him." Because I said, if I hit this man in his face, we're going to have a problem. And then my cousin sees I'm bruised. She coming to get him too. So I said, I better wheel away from you real quick because you about to leave here. I said, oh, okay. I said, well, okay. This is the man that treated you like he was his own son. My daddy. I said, oh, okay. That's cool. That's cool. It's all right. So you gonna take me to the airport. You ain't apologize to me. It's nothing. Get out the car. You want to give me a kiss. I turn my head. Whatever. Goodbye. I'm done. Come to find out, I didn't realize this until last year because now in this November 17th it'll be 2 years. I found out last year. This is how God works. He calls me and he says, "You know what today is? No, Sunday. I don't know what is it." He said, "You know what today is?" Mm-mm. So I'm thinking back. I'm like, so something else triggered me about the date. It was my mom. It was the day my mom passed. The date of my mom's passing is the date I left him. I said,
Wow.
okay, God, all right. I see what you're doing. I said, oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I told him, I said, oh, no, this date is the day my mom passed. Then he says, oh, I'm sorry. I said, I didn't realize either. I said, but God do what he do. So that's that.
Listen, God does some things with them dates. I promise you.
I was like,
And
but I was
let,
like, wait a
let me
minute. This is a date
listen.
Something
you
about
can
them
remember,
numbers.
but you
It's
can't remember
something.
no other date that I give you. Any other day, I made dates for you to do. Remember this and remember that. You can't remember those dates. But the day I leave you, this is the date you want to remember. Oh, okay, okay. Well, you remember that because I'm gonna remember it too. Trust and
God
believe.
will
I'm
do
gonna remember.
something with them dates. I will tell you this.
Yeah.
My original wedding date was June the 17th, 2000.
Mm.
The date that I finished with college was June the 17th, 2015. And then the following year, well, the year before that, I got inducted into the National Society of Leadership and Success, June 17th.
Hello, hello.
So it's like my marriage began. It ended June the 10th. It was finalized June the 10th of 2010. But
Wow.
everything else that was positive for June the 17th was with my college and everything. And it was like, okay. So,
Mhm.
because, I was looking at that day as, a blessing and also it ended, but then when these things took place, it's like,
Uh
okay,
huh.
well, it ain't. It
It
was a
ain't that
day
ain't.
that
Mm-mm.
something began, but it also was the
Mhm.
month of June that, it ended. And so it's like June is a month for me in so many ways because um my cousin was born in June, but we lost him in June. My
Mm.
Mhm.
mom, I graduated in June, but we didn't have the ceremony until after that. But my mom passed in June.
Mm.
And so it's like that month is just bittersweet,
Mhm.
and so it's like I got the good and the bad.
That
And I
yeah.
was at work the other day. Yeah, yeah, I went back to work. I went to work in the actual building for 3 days. But while I was there, I was talking to this lady, and I just recently lost my great aunt who raised me on Saturday. And so I was telling her the significance of birthdays and the significance of dates is that every day is a day to be celebrated.
Mhm.
But this is the thing, we only know our birth date. That is the date that we celebrate. But every day that we're here,
Yep.
we need to learn to celebrate every day because
Mhm.
our death day is going to be significant to those who are left behind.
Mhm.
So
Right.
we need to learn to celebrate because the date that we decide is already predestined because God
Mhm.
is going to call us home on that date, but we'll never
Mhm.
know that day, but it becomes significant to our loved ones who are
Yep.
behind. And
Yep.
so learn to appreciate what we have in this moment, in this sense, because tomorrow could be our date. It could already be
Yep.
on God's list for that day.
Mhm.
And that will be the date that our family members, our loved ones remember. And they have to
Mm-hmm.
remember that day every day, not only the date of that we were born on this earth, but the day that we
Mm-hmm.
leave.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
learn to
Yep.
appreciate each and every day. And I hear people say, well, I don't celebrate birthdays. You may
Huh.
not celebrate birthdays, but you need to celebrate the days that you are given, because
Yes.
you're not promised the next one. You know, you're not even
Exactly.
promised the next second, because if God has you on
Exactly.
his list, he's calling you regardless. And
Exactly.
so we need to learn how to make sure what we're doing from our date of birth to the date that God says, well done, my good and faithful servant.
Mm-hmm.
What we doing
Yes,
with that
Lord.
dash in the middle stands for,
Hello.
you
That part.
know, it stands
Yes,
for something,
ma'am.
and you are with the people who are connected to the destiny that he has created for you. So what
Mm-hmm.
you do with this time is important. The
Mm-hmm.
relationships that you grow and cultivate are important. The time that you put into anything. And a lot of times we sit and we hold ourselves back because it looks like it's not going to come to pass. But if God gave you the vision for it, he'll provide every provision that you're going to need. He's going to connect you to the people that are connected to what he has for you. There is a greater purpose behind this book. There's a greater purpose behind this
Mm-hmm.
conversation. There's a
Mm-hmm.
greater purpose behind all of this. And there's a continuous thing that is going to be like, whoever's listening tonight is going to get something from this conversation that they're going to be able to use for tomorrow and future things. Like, there's always the blueprint that starts somewhere. And if
Mm-hmm.
God gave you the blueprint, he's going to give you everything that you need to make it a reality. But we got to be willing
Mm-hmm.
to step outside of what feels comfortable, to be a little uncomfortable to make it
Yeah,
happen.
that's
But
for
a lot
sure.
of times we don't want to be uncomfortable because the comfort zone feels great.
They
But
do.
God say,
They
get
do.
your foot out of that comfort zone. It's time for you to move.
Yeah.
It's time
Because
for
Mm-hmm.
you to do something different. It's time for you to do
Exactly.
everything that I have
Yeah.
been showing you. And
Yeah.
you be like, God, I don't think so. Now, I'll be honest. I'll be like, God, I think you sent that to the wrong address, because that ain't for me.
no,
And he come back and be like, if I didn't give it to you, I wouldn't be showing it to you. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, sir, listen, we're gonna have to talk about it. I'm gonna need some little more details or something, because you pushed a little bit more on me than what I be prepared for. Yeah, well, just because you're short in stature don't mean you can't do what I told you to do. Now go on
honey,
and
it
do
was
it.
already mapped out. I'm telling you,
Right.
that's why
Mm-hmm.
I'm
And
telling you.
so
Yeah.
Jeremiah 29:11 is real. He
Say that.
said, he
Yes.
said he declared. He said he
Yes.
declared.
exactly.
That's
Yes.
past tense. So that means
Yes.
that it's
It's
already
already
Read
there.
it
mapped out.
written.
He
Mm-hmm.
said for
And
you
Yep.
you gotta stay
to
the course.
prosper, not to harm you, but for you to
Yep.
prosper, for you to be in good health,
Yes.
for you to have hope in the future. And if you go
Exactly.
Amen.
on back to Genesis 2:7, he said he breathed the
Exactly.
breath of life into you. So
Interview.
every
Come on
single thing
now.
that
Come
you
on
need
now.
in this world
Mm.
is already in you.
In
So
you.
no,
Yep.
Yes.
there's
Glory.
never anything that come upon you that you cannot handle, because it's already in you. You
Mm-mm.
just have to tap into that that's in you.
Mm.
He's given us
That's
all gifts
it.
and talents.
That's it.
All
Exactly.
we got
And
to
That's
do
that's
is
it.
that's one
align.
of the
That's
things that I
it.
say all the time, is because you get that old cliche, God gives his he's never put more on
Toughest
you than
battles
you can
to its
bear.
strongest soldiers.
Yeah, I hate that. And the reason I hate that is because God already knew what you were gonna face.
Everything
Because
Yes.
about
he already put it
Mm-hmm.
all there. It's up to
you.
you to
Exactly.
dig deep within to see what tools he's given you to get to the next level in your life. He gives us lessons to pass the test. That way we have a testimony. You can't have a testimony if you ain't never been tested. If you
Mm-hmm.
ain't never been
Mm-hmm.
through nothing, what you
Cannot.
testifying for? You ain't
Exactly.
got no
Exactly.
testimony.
Not one single
I was
You
thing.
listening to
ain't,
somebody this week, and they were saying
you
that
know, if you
that
ain't
you
been
gotta what you call
through
it, that God
nothing,
already saw it ahead of time. He already knew. He said you
God
Every
worrying
knew.
about
single
that
one of us.
divorce. He said you don't gotta be ashamed about that divorce. God knew you was gonna get divorced. He knew you was gonna be in that
Sure
God
did.
position.
knew
He knew that
everything.
before you knew it. So
Everything.
yeah,
God
he already
knows our
knew.
story from the
And that
time
was
that
hard for
we've
me.
been conceived. And
He
before
created.
That was
we
hard.
took that first breath on this side, he
Yeah.
Mm,
already knew what we were going to go through, what we were
Exactly.
going to
Yeah.
endure. And
everything.
sometimes those free will is what gets us in
That's
trouble.
that's it. The free
Free
will. The
will
free
gets us in
will.
trouble. We always
But he
think,
gave it to
well,
us
architect.
so that we can kind of map out our own path. Even though he has mapped it out for us, he give us
Mm-hmm.
free will so that we can choose the route that we go. We can choose the easy route or we can choose the hard route. He given it to us, so we openly choose which way we want to do. If we want to align exactly with what he has mapped out for us and be in place so that we can receive everything that he has for us without tribulations. But we
Mm-hmm.
understand that he didn't say it would be easy, but he
Right.
said
Exactly.
he would make a way. He will
Right.
always
Exactly.
make a way
Yes.
because guess what? He left the comforter with us. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing that we
Exactly.
will
Yeah.
go through. There's nothing that we will go through that we cannot get through. He already know
Yeah.
what the end is going to be. He want to see how our character is going to be. He want to see
Mm-hmm.
how we're
Mm-hmm.
going to be molded. He want to
Mm-hmm.
see how we have grown. He want to see if we got that lesson. Because I tell people those tests, those trials, and those tribulations, that's only for a moment. Your
Mm-hmm.
moment may be 2 days. Your moment may be 3 weeks. Your moment may be 5 weeks. It may be 5 years, but it's only for a moment so that
Right.
you'll
Exactly.
be able to tell somebody else how you got
Mm-hmm.
through, how you overcame, how you
Mm-hmm.
got
Exactly.
to the other side.
Amen. Amen.
And people don't understand that storms are temporary. And if you keep walking through the storm, you're gonna come out on the sun side. But we
Mm-hmm.
don't, we get stuck in the rain. We get stuck right there. We don't want to keep walking, but the storm passes, it moves. So if you
Mm-hmm.
move
It definitely
in the
does.
forward direction, you're gonna eventually get out of the storm. But you gotta keep walking. We
And
just,
Mm-hmm.
it's a
oh Lord,
process.
it's too much, it's too
But
heavy.
it's a process. And I
Put
tell
that
people
way.
Mm-hmm.
it's a three-step process. You
Mhm,
got to understand that storms they don't go nowhere. They just move. It
mhm,
may be storming up there where you at, Travita, and it may not
mhm,
be storming over there where LaTonya at. May not be
Right.
storming
mhm.
where I'm at, but it may come later on. And we got to understand
Exactly.
that there's three parts of a storm. You either
Mhm.
going into a storm, you in the midst of a
Mm-hmm.
storm, or you
Or
Or
you
you
coming out
ready
of
to
coming
come
out.
out of the zone.
the storm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And one thing
Mm-hmm.
my aunt used to say all the time is when I was young, it never made any sense to me. And all she simply said was just keep living.
Keep living.
And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what does that even mean? She was like, you may not understand it right now, but you'll understand it when you get older.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it may not be your problem today, but it very well can be yours tomorrow.
Amen.
Exactly.
And that's why you never talk down on somebody else's situation because it may not
Mm-hmm.
look like you will ever have to experience it. But when you have to
Mm-hmm.
experience, it's always, well, I
Mm.
wouldn't have never done that. I wouldn't have never said that. But then when
You
you
don't
get
know that.
to that, it's like, well, I see now why you said that. I see why you did. No, no, no.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, keep that same energy you had when you was
Mm-hmm.
saying, I would have never. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's always them people that I would never that be coming around
Mm-hmm.
talking about, well, I'm never and again. Yeah, you dealing
Mm-hmm.
with it now. They ain't
Mm-hmm.
never before, but now they never and harder than before. Don't sit down somewhere. You and your never woulda. Now you dealing with it, and now it's like, oh well, I need
Mm-hmm.
some compassion, some empathy, some sympathy, compassion on my side. No, what was that when somebody else was going through it? You didn't have it,
Right.
Say that. Say
and now
that.
you own it.
Say
It don't
that.
feel good when you gotta deal with it. Like keep your
That
mouth
part.
off of folks. Stop
That
talking
part.
about them because you're gonna have to reap what you sow. And when you
That
plant
part.
souls of nastiness, guess what? You're gonna have to eat that. That's why I tell people
Mm-hmm.
don't be preparing a plate for somebody that you ain't prepared to eat.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
Because if
I'm
you
telling
can't
you.
Mm-hmm.
eat the same thing you putting on that plate and worrying about what somebody else got prepared on their plate, God prepared
Mm-hmm.
that specifically for them. They may have high blood pressure and can't have no salt. You over there trying to eat off their plate.
Come
That's
Mm-hmm.
on.
gonna make you sick. You gonna end up in the hospital because you want what's on their plate. That ain't
That part.
yours. Put that fork
Hello.
down and go on mind your business. They
Come
ain't
on
got nothing to
now.
do with you.
Come on now.
Eat what's on your
Say that.
own plate, and I swear you'll
Say
be
that.
full.
Say that.
And that way
Hello.
you can season it up your own way.
And
Y'all may have the same plate, y'all may have the same items on the plate, but it all may be seasoned differently. You know how you
Hello.
Right.
want your salt and pepper. I may want
Hello.
lemon pepper and garlic.
Exactly. So
You
stop
might like
trying to eat
raisins
off
in your
somebody's
potato
plate.
salad. You might like raisins in
Right.
your potato salad. I don't. I don't like it at
I
all.
might like grapes in my chicken salad, and you might not.
Right.
Right. Like, stop trying to look over there at somebody else's plate and be sitting up there talking about, well, that
Uh,
look good, and you go on to get you a fork full, and now you realize it got 12 tablespoons of salt on there, and now you over there looking for some water. That's what you get. You're over there meddling something that ain't got nothing to do with you. Stay off my plate. All right, y'all.
go ahead, Evangelist. You better come on.
All right, y'all.
Look, I don't know where that came from because I'm gonna be up tonight. I say
Girl.
she over there yawning, came on over this way. You need to stop, Dee Dee.
I'm laughing.
And it's contagious.
Oh, well,
I was
see, I
laughing
didn't
when
see
you
it,
all
so
this
I
Evangelist.
ain't there. But
I was laughing because
I'm
it
gonna
was
have to
funny.
get off of here because I gotta
Oh
take
Lord,
you
that Evangelist. We gotta
for
get a
the.
plate. We gotta get the plate first. Don't leave. We got a
Well,
collection
we
for
we
you.
we need we need the benediction before you
We
go,
need.
man.
Okay, well, listen. This what I got for y'all. Listen, divorce is not the end. It's only the beginning if you allow yourself to be in the space to receive what God has for you. And if you've been praying for that special person, be patient. Don't be trying to rush and mind in God's business because he ain't told you to come over there and do nothing. God is God all by himself. If he told you he would do it, he will make a way, then trust him to do it. Stay out his business. Don't be going over there. God, listen, I know you said you was going to do it, but when? Mind your business and stay out of God's, because God is all by himself. He know what he doing. He been doing it for a lifetime. He ain't stopped today. He ain't gonna stop tomorrow. Stay in your place and do what you're supposed to do. And divorce is not the end. All right. I love y'all. I gotta
Love
go.
Pass
you.
the collection plate. We out.
Love
Thank
you.
y'all
Right.
for tuning in tonight. We'll be back.